Hi everyone, this is Megan here at the Ashland Public Library, and welcome to Fun with Food, where today I'm going to make a recipe that I was inspired to look up after reading some wonderful picture books that are all written by Native Americans. I in fact, was mostly inspired when I found this new picture book that we have called Fry Bread. And this was written by Kevin Noble Maillard, and he is a member of the Seminole Nation. And fry bread is a wonderful, versatile type of flatbread that comes together quickly and easily, and you can do a lot of different things with it. One of my favorite things is to have what's called a Navajo taco. So you'll make your bread, and then you make however you like your tacos, and you just pile all of that right on top. You can also make them sweet with some cinnamon and sugar, a little bit of butter and honey, basically however you want. And fry bread is a big staple in a lot of Native communities. Some of the other books that I have here today that I love is Antelope Woman, an Apache Folktale. That's by Michael Lapaka, and he is of Apache, Hopi, and Tiwa descent. Girl and the Wolf by Catherine Vernetta, who is a member of the Métis tribe. Raven, Rabbit, Deer by Sarah Farnell Holler, and she is from the Ojibwe Nation. And this book is fun because it will actually teach you the names of animals in Ojibwe. And then lastly here we have Sweetest Kulu by Selena Kaluk, who is a member of the Inuit tribe way up north. This is a wonderful bedtime story, and it has beautiful illustrations. So today, like I said, we're gonna make fry bread. So let's get started. All right, so for fry bread, like I said, it's very basic. You'll need flour, salt, baking powder, and whatever type of oil you like to fry in. So I have just generic vegetable oil. If you want to use something that's healthier, go for it. If you're allergic, to peanuts, skip the peanut oil, use safflower oil, whatever you prefer. And so to start with, we're going to need our flour, which is 2 cups of flour. We have 2.5 teaspoons of our baking powder. And then we have 1 teaspoon of salt. And we are also going to need warm water. And it's just warm from your tap. You don't want it scalding hot, but warmer than lukewarm. All right, so in a bigger bowl, I have my 2 cups of flour, my 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and my salt, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then my 1 cup of warm water. And now we're gonna mix this together. You can use a fork if you like, but I like to just use my hand. And you're just gonna mix until it starts to come together. So you wanna get all that flour moistened. If you've ever made bread, you know that a lot of different factors go into how much liquid you need. So if yours isn't coming together, you may need to add a little bit more warm water. If it's too wet, you might need to add a little bit more flour. This is a pretty forgiving recipe. All right, there we go. So we have a nice shaggy dough. Get what I can off my fingers. There we go. Now I'm going to clean up, and then we're going to tip this out onto a floured surface and knead it for about 5 minutes. All right, so we have our floured surface. Get some flour in your hands. Alrighty, and check the time, so or you can set a timer. And you are just going to knead, so I'm just folding it over, pushing it down. Kneading builds up the gluten in the flour. If you are gluten intolerant, gluten sensitive, or can't have gluten because of celiac or other medical problems, I don't know how these will turn out with a gluten-free flour. I have never tried that. But if you do try it gluten-free, please let us know if they come out tasty. If you have little kids, this is something that's fun to let them help with. You start sticking to the counter or the table, just add a little bit more flour. The recipe quantities that we are using today, this will make roughly 8 fry bread pieces. And they're pretty good size. About 1 is good for a person. This isn't the kind of bread that you want to eat every day. Not super healthy frying stuff up, but it is a fun treat. All right, I'm gonna finish kneading this. And once it's been kneaded for 5 minutes, we're gonna put it into a clean bowl and let it rest for 10 minutes. So I will see you in about 15 minutes. All right, here is our dough. It's been resting for 10 minutes. And so now we are gonna divide it up into 8 pieces. And you just wanna tear off about a golf ball size chunk. There we go. And then we are going to roll this out until we have about a 6-inch disc. You can do it by hand if you want, or I have a handy rolling pin. And just a rough disc. We're not looking for a perfectly round. All right, so there's our first one. And we are just gonna set this aside. And then you wanna make sure that while you roll out the rest of them that you keep it covered with plastic wrap or a tea towel. All right, we got another golf ball here. Squish it out. All right, there's 2. Okay. All right, now that we have them rolled out, we're going to heat up our oil on medium heat. I didn't give you a quantity because a lot of this will depend on the size of your pan. You want to make sure that you have a good inch and a half to 2 inches up the side. And you want to make sure that you have a deep pan. So I have this nice skillet with high sides. You can actually do this in a Dutch oven if you want. It'll be a little harder to turn them over the deeper your pan is. And it should take roughly 5 minutes to heat up your oil. You want it to be between 350 and 360 degrees Fahrenheit. And the oil temperature is very important. If it's too hot, you'll burn your outside and have your dough or your bread be dough on the inside. And if it is not hot enough, it will take far too long for them to cook up. And you'll get a really tough, unappealing bread. All right, so I will be back with you as soon as this heats up. All right, we have had our oil heating up. And so now we're ready to fry. You want to do these one at a time. If any of you kiddos out there have been helping, this step is definitely one for your grown-ups. Hot oil is very dangerous. All right, so we are going to take our fry bread dough and plop it in. We should see it start to puff up. There it goes. All right, and we are gonna let this go until it gets golden brown on one side, and then we will flip it over and let it brown up on the other side. You're gonna wanna have a plate handy for when you take these out to set them on. Line it with a paper towel. Catch off that extra grease. And if you're not quite ready to eat, because these are best when they are warm, you can set your oven to 200 and then pop them in and just let them sit on a baking sheet in just a warm oven. I'll just give it a little, nope, not quite there. Tongs are definitely the easiest thing to use to flip these. See how it just started to turn kind of golden brown? So we're going to let it fry up on the other side. It won't take as long. Alright, there we go. So we're going to put it on our paper towel. Lined. Alright, and I have one more made up. I'll toss this in. You might have to wait for your oil to heat back up in between slices of bread. Oh yeah, this one's a little smaller, so it's popping right up there. Oh, they smell really good. It smells a lot like the fair, because they are basically just fried dough. All right, so we fried up our fry bread. And like I said, you can pile it high with your favorite taco and make a Navajo taco, or I have sprinkled these with some cinnamon sugar and made very similar to an elephant ear. And they are quite good. They're one of my favorite treats. I don't make them very often. But this was one of my favorite things to get when I would go to the Arizona State Fair. You could find all of this stuff there. I hope you give them a try, and I hope you check out some of our wonderful picture books. And I hope you keep trying new foods. All right, thank you so much. Bye.